everyone, I welcome you all to today's hit series session, and in this session we are going to talk about Open Network for Digital Commerce, abbreviated as ONDC. So it is a news because Shri Piyush Goyal, the Commerce Minister, has chaired a meeting. He called upon a meeting yesterday, and now today he has chaired this meeting to review the Open Network for Digital Commerce or ONDC. And we are going to cover this particular topic in the following sequence. We shall be knowing the key highlights related to the meeting. Then we'll be knowing about what ONDC is all about. Then we'll be understanding a very key feature related to it, that is about open source software, which is going to be important for us from UPSC CSE perspective, and that's why I'm going to go into the nitty-gritties of that as well. Thereafter, we'll be talking about the current status of ONDC, where it is at. Of course, we have to do that because the meeting has happened, but to just understand it in detail, I've kept the subtopic separate. Thereafter, the future prospects with related to ONDC, what the government plans on doing with regards to ONDC, and of course we are going to have the prelims and mains based practice questions as well. It has been missed out on from listing over here, so I have told you that of course it is there, right? Before I move any further with my discussion, I want you all to pay attention to this very crucial announcement. Mr. Nitin Shivhari, the founder and director of Analyst IAS, is coming up with his batches for Polity IR from 1st of September as well as GS Paper 4 Ethics from 1st of September. The timings for the Polity and IR batch is 11 AM, while Ethics and Ethics GS Paper 4 course is going to be conducted, the batch is going to be conducted at 4 PM. And apart from that, even for public administration, the batch is going to start from 25th of September. So if it is your optional public administration, do not miss out on this opportunity and book your slot as soon as possible. To do the same and inquire further about the courses and the admissions, you can connect with us on the given numbers, and you can also visit our office in the old Rajinder Nagar market. Now let's move further and look at the key highlights, which is the first in our sequence to discuss about this particular news. So ONDC is planning to start beta testing of the network with public limited users in limited areas. So it is going to be available in particular cities. We'll be knowing about them shortly. So ONDC must create consumer trust through transparent policies and robust grievance redressal mechanism. This is what Shri Piyush Goyal has said. See, the platform that ONDC is, it is going to be about e-commerce. Let me reveal it for you, right? There's no point keeping it ambiguous, because the point is that you must come to understand what I'm talking about. So that's why, see, ONDC is related to e-commerce. It is actually going to integrate all other e-commerce as well, and people can register directly on ONDC. The sellers can register directly on ONDC as well. So in that case, to actually work for real, to be successful, public trust, consumer trust is essential. That's why for maintaining trust, the very first requirement is transparency, and that's why Shri Piyush Goyal, Union Minister, has emphasized on the same. Then the Minister has also urged ONDC to work in active cooperation with traders and industry associations to implement the network at ground level. Of course, all the stakeholders need to come together, right, to make it a great success. Then the Minister in fact emphasizes that the basic purpose of ONDC is to assist the small undigitized traders. A lot of traders are today on Myntra, Flipkart, Amazon, all of these sites. What about those who are not yet there? What about those who cannot pay the fees these platforms are charging to keep your products highlighted when they are enlisted on the website? So all of this, who cannot avail these opportunities, such people, even if they are present on the online platforms like the ones I have named, they do not get really advantaged out of it. So ONDC aims to do away with such things. So it is supposed to assist and support the small undigitized traders to get digitized and avail the opportunities offered by the e-commerce ecosystem. Now, I hope you've understood the whole objective behind ONDC and the whole story, what it is all about. Let's know about it in more detail, because we need to know it from the perspective of UPSC, both from the prelims and mains perspective, right? So we have to collect good amount of information to be able to write a, let's say, 150 or 250 words answer. So there you go. ONDC actually is a non-profit company in itself, whose network will enable the display of products and services from all participating e-commerce platforms. So as I've told you, people can individually go and register on this marketplace, as well as the marketplaces, e-commerce marketplaces which already exist. They can go ahead and integrate themselves with ONDC. So in the search results across all apps, the products will show up. Let's say you have searched for a Bluetooth wireless headset. It is available on Flipkart. It is available on Amazon. It is available on Tata Click. So what you will do is, you will go to ONDC's application or platform interface. You will type you need a Bluetooth headset. From across the websites, the results will be showing up, and you can buy them through ONDC itself. You don't have to navigate to these websites. Right? So ONDC is a globally first of its kind initiative that aims to democratize the digital commerce. Right? Now the monopolies will be broken. People will be able to see and compare. Right? The ONDC will provide equal opportunities to all market players, including consumers as well, so that they can compare everything on the same platform. It moves from platform-centric model. So it's not about Amazon, Flipkart anymore. It's about the product then. Who's offering you the best deal? Where the buyer and seller must use the same platform or application to be digitally visible and do business transaction to an open network. It is based on open source methodology. See, it is based on open source methodology. So hence we are going to cover that in detail shortly in the very next slide itself. So it is actually uses open specification and open network protocols and is independent of any specific platform. It is neutral platform that will set protocols for cataloging, vendor match and price discovery on the open source basis. Like UPI. UPI is also open source. Now from this example, please try to understand, please try to grab what open source is all about. Let me let me help you get around it, and then I'll go to the informatory details in the written material of the slide. So see, UPI, imagine about UPI, right? Picturize. Think about your experience with UPI. You can use UPI through Paytm, through Amazon Pay, through Google Pay, through Phone Pay and all other such apps. UPI is a particular application in itself, a particular platform, a particular service in itself. How it is available across these platforms? This is because it is open source. Any platform can integrate with UPI and provide you the platform to avail the services of UPI. Now similarly, this is what open source software is all about, and this is how ONDC is also going to work. So let's talk about open source in proper theoretical detail. So to make a process or a software open source implies that the technology or code deployed for the process is freely made available for everyone to use, redistribute and modify. This is what platforms are doing. The names I have taken already. So this is what platforms are doing with UPI as well. So for instance, the operating system of Apple, that is iOS, is closed. no other particular device manufacturer could use iOS in their manufactured devices, right? It cannot be legally modified or used. However, Android operating system is open source, making it possible for the smartphone manufacturers, there are many, Samsung, Xiaomi, Nokia, etc., to modify their respective hardware. So this is another example, and I hope now open source would be absolutely clear to you. So the current status of ONDC is what I'm going to talk to you about now. ONDC has been rolled out in 5 cities. See, I told you that this pilot project running system, I'll shortly reveal where all in the limited area concept it is going to be in place. So Delhi NCR, Bengaluru, Bhopal, Shillong and Coimbatore have been selected to run this ONDC system on the pilot basis or in the limited area basis. The operations are presently focused on retail and restaurants and facilitating real-time transactions. The open network will later on extend to other categories like travel and mobility as well. Based on the pilot exercise and after the network stabilizes, ONDC will be expanded to 100 cities and towns across India by next month, October 2022. So the goal is to accommodate 30 million sellers and 10 million merchants online in this e-marketplace platform for the consumers to avail services from across the country and in a fair manner without the biases and hidden charges that e-commerce are taking from certain particular bigger sellers to keep their product more highlighted. So the key stakeholders under the ONDC product or project are: number 1, 20 government and private organizations have confirmed their investments worth rupees 2.55 million, that is $33.34 million. Then several public and private sector banks such as HDFC, Kotak Mahindra, Axis Bank, State Bank of India and Punjab National Bank have picked up the stakes in ONDC. So all of these banks are also shareholders. Around 80 firms are working to integrate market players with ONDC platform. Startups like Flipkart's logistics arm, eCart Logistics, hyperlocal delivery startup Dunzo and payment service provider PhonePe are in the process of integrating with ONDC as well. So these are the stakeholders. So ONDC definitely is getting good prospects with regards to the receiving it is having from the players in the market. Now, on that note, while I have already created a premise, let's talk about the future of ONDC. So ONDC aims to raise e-commerce penetration in the next 2 years to 25% of India's consumer purchase. So whatever purchases are happening on daily basis in India, 25% of that is to happen from ONDC itself. This is the target. From nearly 8% now in a country of 1.35 billion people. So online purchases from e-commerce platforms, whatever it is happening, only 8% of total purchases happening, both online and offline purchases I'm talking about. So total purchases are happening from e-marketplace only 8%. And the the number has to be raised to 25%. That is the target. It also hopes to sign up 900 million buyers and 1.2 million sellers on the shared network within the next 5 years while achieving gross merchandise value of $48 billion. To bring in logistic firms and others who can collaborate with the sellers to deliver the product. So many things will be coming together, and hence a good network of this whole consumer and e-marketplace will be created. The focus should be on small merchants, of course, and the rural consumers with apps in Indian languages. Tap millions of small businesses that often lack technological expertise, so the government will have to run a massive awareness campaign to get them on board. Now, How this will happen? See, today you find the payment scan codes of various merchants, be it Paytm, be it PhonePe, be it BharatPe, from across the country in even small local grocery stores, right? This is the kind of penetration that needs to happen even for ONDC. And this is what is being planned also by the government. This is the vision of government itself. So this was all I wanted to talk to you about ONDC. This information shall suffice all that you need from UPSC CSE's perspective. Now let's look at the prelims based practice question for today. Consider the following statements about ONDC or Open Network for Digital Commerce. Number 1, it is an initiative of Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT. Number 2, under this, all sellers and buyers platform will work through one open protocol and can connect through ONDC. Your options are A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 nor 2. You need to pick the correct combination as your answer. Put your answer in the comment box below. You can pause the video to do the same. Well, the answer for this particular question is C, that is both 1 and 2. Both the statements are absolutely correct and we have discussed on the same lines. Now let's look at the means practice question for today. The ONDC Open Network for Digital Commerce project proposed by the Government of India has the potential to curb digital monopolies of the large companies and provide huge booster shots to smaller online retailers and new entrants. Discuss. You shall be answering this particular question in 250 words. This is it for today. I shall see you again tomorrow. Till then, take care, stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining in.